What's going on, guys? So today we are going to be talking about some interesting news that did just get released by a lot of media outlets on Twitter. So it seems that the Batman Part 2 has officially been delayed a whole extra year again. And it seems that Anthony Muschietti, the director for the upcoming DCU title for Batman the Brave and the Bold, has also been inevitably delayed also. Specifically, at the highlight of this video, we're really going to talk about a lot of the noise that's going on, that there's a possibility that Robert Pattinsons Batman is going to be part of the DCU, and I have some main comments about that, and also we are going to talk about Batman the Brave and the Bold by itself. Now, first, I got a couple of tweets about a lot of stuff that people's talking about on Twitter, and we're just going to talk about it together. We're going to talk about Mr. Brandon Davis. He specifically stated on Twitter, which is all these tweets I'm going to show you. I feel like they're good talking points, and they're very interesting to talk about. So first, he said, if James Gunn were to put Pattinson's Batman in a new DC universe, there would be a huge camp of very loud people who would be insufferably loud about how they don't want that. Which, being also, I am one of those people. And it's hard to imagine a world where characters as grounded as Pharaoh's Penguin coexist with Guy Gardner, Hawkgirl, and the others. All in addition to zero references of these heroes in the Batman or the Penguin. Gunn's Superman world seems very promising. Reeves' Batman world is already extremely interesting, and they're vastly different. Not impossible to blend them, I suppose, but hard to imagine a way to pull it off that doesn't alienate or a vocal portion of the audience and in a way that makes canonical sense. But I don't write these things. Who knows? I'm not expecting them to put it together. Now, my opinion of this is that I don't think that James Gunn's Superman and the Batman should be in the same universe. I am a huge believer in what James Gunn is really wanting to do in having Elseworld stories. I did see the news with Clayface, and I meant to make a video about it, but I never got around to it, so we're just going to talk about it in this video. James Gunn did come out and say that the Clayface did have a 2026 release date, and he stated that he had no issue with Clayface coming out in the same time frame as the Batman because it's not part of since the Batman is not part of the DCU. I feel like Clayface specifically should have been an Elseworld story. I don't know why James Gunn has got this infatuated love about wanting to make these characters like the Clayfaces and the Creature Commandos, making them mainstream. Same thing with Blue Beetle. Because I feel like characters like that just need to have a TV series, just like the Penguin. Honestly, the Penguin is a bigger villain or DC character in general than Clayface and the Creature Commandos. I think Matt Reeves did right by that. But you can't really put Clayface in an Elseworld story because then he would be part of the Pattissons universe. You get what I'm saying? That's the reason why this Elseworld story stuff is very confusing with James Gunn, because right now we only have the Batman universe as an Elseworld story. We have nothing else in the imagination laid out. Everything outside of the Batman is in the DCU. The Creature Commandos, the Clayface, all of that's part of DCU. James Gunn Superman. So it puts into perspective on what if James Gunn possibly changes his mind and actually does make the Batman part of the DCU now. I don't know. That news is interesting because of the delay on the Batman and the Brave and the Bold film. But another tweet said there are only two options that seem to make sense with this Batman being delayed. Number one, they actually really want Pattinson in the DCU, and Reeves is retooling the film to make that adjustment, or they're filming part 2 and 3 back-to-back, which a lot of people have been saying that. But me personally, it's just from personal preference. I don't want that type of Batman cooperating with Superman. I want a Batman with at least a little bit of personality to coincide with Superman. I don't know. I can't really say this right now because I don't know what type of tone that James Gunn is going to go for with Superman. I don't know if he's going to be very talkative, like his demeanor. Is it going to be very Justice League Animated Series like, or is it still going to be like like Superman Returns type tone, or even Man of Steel, Zack Snyder, that type of the way Superman actually acts, which I definitely don't think that's what James Gunn's going to go for. I think he's going to go with more of a Christopher Reeve Justice League animated series type tone for Superman. And Pattinson's Batman, for me, the ideal world's finest duo, I would like the Clark Kent and the Bruce Wayne element to be there also. Because I say that in saying this, that Robert Pattinson's Bruce Wayne was not it for me. It just wasn't. I didn't care for his Bruce Wayne character at all. Bruce Wayne to me is supposed to be this playboy billionaire, very talkative, very in depth with his company, and that Bruce Wayne there was the exact opposite. He really didn't want to do nothing with. He didn't really care to be part of the Wayne family. Didn't really care to be that talkative around people. Just very to himself, which I was not a fan of. And I think it fit. It really did fit Matt Reeves' tone for the film, so it worked with his film. But it would not work with the tone of the DCU, because that's just not the dynamic you need for World's Finest. You want a Bruce Wayne that is like the Bruce Wayne on Batman the Animated Series, when they had the World's Finest episodes in Batman the Animated Series, where the episode where Bruce Wayne is hitting on Lois Lane, flirt with Lois Lane, taking her out to lunch, and then Clark Kent's just sitting there like, are you really taking my girl? You want that type of dynamic between Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne, and that relationship, and to differentiate that between when he actually gets into the suit. That is what the ideal tone I want to have for World's Finest, and I don't think Robert Pattinson fits that tone for him to be able to coincide with David Corenswets Superman in just in the DC universe. That's just me. I think, look, The Batman is a top 3 film for me. As a Batman film itself, I actually do, from my personal opinion, The Dark Knight will always be the best. Christian Bale's first 2 Batman movies will be better than The Batman to me. I got The Batman sitting number 3 on my list, because I am a big Christian Bale guy, and I think that is the kind of Batman I would actually like to see in a DCU type, just that the way they wrote that character. I just don't see a scenario, especially with the tone of the Batman's universe, along with how people's been talking about how dark and broody the Penguin's universe is. Like Brandon was saying, I just don't think you can blend those two together. I really don't. Another guy's tweet here. He loved the first Batman movie. The Penguin was fantastic, but at this point, it will be at least 5.5 years since the first film came out. The DCU will be full steam ahead and needs their Batman out there. I hate to say it, but this universe needs to end. I don't agree with that whatsoever. I think there's a lot of potential to explore some stories, and maybe this is why he tweeted this, because this is hard. You cannot experience any other stories because there hasn't been another Batman film yet. It's going to be another 2.5 years until we get another Batman film. So we don't have any other characters to experience unless they do, inevitably, I think they're going to do a Penguin season 2 to actually introduce more characters and then do another story off that. I know, me personally, I don't care to see a Catwoman series based off of the Batman. I don't know the girl's name. I did not care for her, Selena Kyle, whatsoever. I would not be interested in watching anything that they do with her. So I know they was going to do the GCPD thing. I don't think that's still in the works with Matt Reeves. I don't know. That would have low-key been a little interesting to get some inside look at what the GCPD does in the Batman universe. Maybe introducing some other characters. I mean, they did tease Joker at the end of the Batman. That's a lot of stories that could be introduced. So what this guy's saying is like, hey, it's going to be 5.5 years since the first Batman film, and we can't create no stories outside of the Penguin because there's no other villains to use. So how are we going to set up extra stories in this universe when you're going to have a 5-year gap between the films? It's something to really, really think about. It is something to think about. Something else that I really wanted to talk about too here is Anthony Muschietti says the Batman the Brave and the Bold movie has been delayed for a bit and that he's going to work on another film. So this still coincides with what we were talking about earlier. Does this open the Pandora's box and there a possibility of Pattison being part of DCU? I really think there is a possibility that could probably be in the talks right now with James Gunn. I just don't think it should happen. I think they're going to want to do another tone with Batman because they're wanting to do Robin. They're wanting to do Damian. I don't see a scenario where Robert Pattinson is going to be able to be a mentor to Damian Wayne. I don't see that type of Bruce Wayne being a mentor to Damian Wayne. If you have not looked at the animated films, Son of Batman, Batman vs. Robin, watch those films, look at that Batman, and see the reason why I'm saying that Robert Pattinson's Batman could not be able to carry the burden of being able to raise up somebody like Damian. It's not going to work. It's just at the end, my argument is the way that Robert Pattinson's Batman has been written. It is hard for him to coincide in a universe like the DCU. If James Gunn and Matt Reeves finds a different approach to writing his character and give him a fresh, different take, I would be open to that. But my caveat to that is, and would be for most folks, is we liked what we already had. It felt dark, broody, great tone, fit the Batman character. It fits this universe. And then you want to switch that to something that may not work. And if it does work, it's a double-edged sword. It's like, dang, well, it works, but it still takes away from what we actually love about that character to begin with. So it's a double-edged sword. So that's the reason why I'm an advocate for keeping the Elseworld story and finding a new Batman to fit the DCU. You can never not have enough of Batman. I mean, Batman is the #1 favorite character in the DC universe, outside of Superman. They're the top 2, so fans will be very happy with just having any type of Batman content. So both would work, in my opinion. I think you have a big audience for the Batman in the upcoming film, and I think you're going to have a big audience for whatever Batman they do cast in DCU. That is just my personal opinion. And I also wanted to talk about something else, something that I actually tweeted on Twitter, is that Matt Reeves has said in plenty of interviews that he's been interviewed with, that has been reported by a lot of media outlets, that he's been working on a script for the Batman and he just cannot quite finish it and find what he wants to do. So seeing this news of this movie being actually delayed is not very surprising to me. I don't know why it's surprising to most folks. A lot of the media personnel that I actually do follow around on Twitter, a lot of them are about where I'm at. They're not surprised that we knew it was inevitable. Matt Reeves could not get the right production up for this next movie. I don't know what he wants to go with just quite yet. But like I was saying in my tweet, just give him all the time he needs. I think that Matt Reeves has created something good. I think he's created something very well. And it hits home with a lot of DC and Batman fans. I just think at the end of the day, I will shout it to the cows come home, that Batman should be his own universe, and we need to find our own DCU Batman. That is my take on that. So it seems that the film is set to be filming in late summer of 2025. So it's actually physically getting ready to start filming. Why such late release? It's going to take a whole 2 years, pretty much. I imagine they're going to film for a good 3 to 4 months, maybe longer than that. So it's going to be at least a year and a half plus of post-production. That's a very long time, but hey, give him all the time he needs to make that tone that he needs to make for that Batman film. But at the end of the day, we got some very bad news that the Batman, meaning the Batman from the DCU and the Batman from the DC extended, well, not DC extended universe, the Elseworld Batman universe, both films have been delayed, inevitably. If you enjoyed this episode of the Comic Book Podcast, let me know down below. Did you agree with my thoughts, or do you have any other thoughts that you think should apply to this matter? Let me know down below in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, please do not forget to drop a like, as it helps the algorithm and helps out my channel. If you are interested in seeing any other type of content, such as trailer reactions, any type of sports, or comic book based podcasts, click the link down below in the description. And if you enjoyed my content and enjoyed me as myself, please do not forget to drop that subscribe button, and also to click that notification bell when you get notified when all of my videos go live. It's been a pleasure being with you guys today. I enjoyed this episode, and I will see you guys on the next one. Do not forget, I love you always. Peace, love, and positivity. Y'all, I love you.